Cause I'm the migga Mac daddy. Cause I'm the migga Mac. Daddy make you jump.
Chris
Daddy
Strauss
Mac
will
will
make
make you.
ya.
Hey, how's it going? I'm John with DV Inspection Services. We inspect both commercial and residential properties. And so if you need any sort of inspection services, whether it be buying or selling property, or if you need something for maintenance, or if you wanted a checkup on your warranty inspections, or if you need something for insurance purposes, we cover all of it. And if there's a specialty inspection that we don't service, we also have contacts that we can refer up to. Look at us as like your general practitioner, and we know all the doctors up above us that need to be called in any case with your home. If you want inspection services, give us a call.
All right, welcome in everyone. Today I'm joined with John Del Val. John, thanks so much for your time. John is a two-time sponsor of the Home Sweet Home Block Party. And John, you've had some exciting news of late with your business since the Home Sweet Home Block Party this year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your exciting news?
Sure thing. So a lot of folks know me as John from DV Home Inspections, but we've had a little bit of a branding change. That's change number one. We are now known as DV Inspection Services, and that's to reflect
Nice.
the fact that we are inspecting commercial properties now as well. So we've been
Congrats.
certified by CCPIA, which is a national certifying organization for commercial property inspections, and so we're offering that. But one other change most recently that we've got is this right here.
Oh, yeah.
So DV Home Inspections was also noted as one of the finalists in the Best of the Bay Awards for Pensacola in 2025, Best Home Inspection Company.
Well earned.
We were in the, I appreciate that. We were in the top 3, and the other 2 that were, named as finalists are much bigger companies than us. So the fact that we've only been around 2.5 years and we're able to reach this feat right here, pretty significant. So very happy.
Map.
So there you go. Yeah,
he's on the map, folks.
Yeah.
Well, given the recent success that you have, can you kind of give some advice for first-time home buyers that may set them up for success? Entering in this process, it can be a spooky, scary time to buy a home. However, bring some pieces of advice, if you will, for our clients out there.
Sure. Yeah. So for first-time home buyers, the biggest thing is to have a really good team around you, right? So you want to make sure that the folks that you are surrounding yourself with when it comes to your greatest investment, the realtors, the home inspectors, the mortgage lenders, even the insurance companies, that you're interviewing those folks, that you're asking all kinds of questions. If you don't know what kinds of questions to ask, Google what kinds of questions should I ask when purchasing a first home,
Google or Chat GPT.
A lot of Chat GPT and AI. There's ways to kind of like figure out what should I be asking, and then once you have a grip of the things that you're looking for, making sure you're interviewing and doing your due diligence. And so when it comes to first-time home buyers with us, we make sure that we do a lot of hold handing, a little bit of white glove concierge type service, making sure that they're well taken care of, and partnering with their realtors to get them through their transaction. Right?
Yeah, and I think I got to piggyback on that bit of advice for first-time home buyers. You really want to make sure you're going through the entire process with them. I like to say, act like they don't know anything about the process, and it's not to look down on them again, but it's just really to kind of stay on track. And, educating people is huge in this business. Otherwise, you have folks that are just assuming or going with the flow. They're going with the first person they talk to and what advice they give them. And that really doesn't give themselves a competitive advantage. They're walking blindly into a scenario. So doing their research, asking questions, writing questions down, and asking these questions of multiple people.
That's right.
If you don't get a good vibe off the first realtor you talk to, call another one.
That's right.
If you don't get a good vibe or you think that the lender didn't answer enough questions, call another one.
Right.
So that's really the best way that you're going to position yourself when you're buying a home. You're talking about the biggest purchase you're going to have in your life.
That's right.
And we want to make sure it's memorable for the right reasons, not that they're entering this scared or fearful. So
sure. Let me add one more thing to that. When you're interviewing folks, part of the questioning that a lot of folks are going to have regarding the realtor services, the mortgage lending, and the interest rates, and there's a fees kind of thing that comes with everything. It's like, oh, it's so expensive to buy a home, and you think about the price of the home, but then all of the closing costs on top of that, all of the home inspection fees, the realtor commissions that have to be paid, right? one thing that I'm going to encourage first-time home buyers with is that cheaper is not always better, right? The fact that you're saving money here and there, you want to make sure that you're getting the right people, the right quality of people, because it is your largest investment, right? And I don't say that just to try to convince folks, yeah, go with me, even though I'm a little more expensive inspector, this, that, and the other. It's not about that, right? It's more about what quality of service are you getting from these individuals? Are they going to be taking care of you and looking for your best interest? And if so, you would definitely want to make sure that the compensation is going to be commensurate with that level of service. You know, it's you don't want the cheapest person, because the cheapest person may not give you all of the time required in order to take care of your investment. So
and you talk about fees. I mean, you have these fee sheets that can be provided up front. You can ask these questions. What is it that I'm paying for? What are these fees covering? I've seen multiple times where clients that are doing their due diligence, they're shopping around, they may get a fee sheet from another lender and they say, oh, well, they were able to beat your rate, right? Well, they didn't tell them that they're paying for the rate. The consumer is paying for that rate. Points. And if they don't explain it, discount points, look on that fee sheet, guys, look on your loan estimate. But that just goes back to your point on fees and how it can be not manipulated, but how it can be maybe hidden or something that they're not aware of.
And then when it comes to inspection costs, sometimes, you might get an inspector that might be $100, $200 cheaper than the next one. But what are you getting for that extra couple $100? Is your inspector going with the state minimum, or are they going above and beyond the state minimum? Are they offering additional services like thermal imaging? Are they doing a whole home inspection versus just a representative number of this, that, and the other? There's all kinds of stuff. And when it really comes down to it, a home inspection fee is less than a fraction of a percent of the cost of the home. And so just don't skip out on the home inspection fee. Just really do your due diligence and interview and find out what you're getting.
Absolutely. And whether it be first-time home buyer or your first time working with a realtor partner, is there maybe a recent success story that you might bring up and share with our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, so there was a realtor that went out on Facebook recently, and she was struggling because the home inspection that her client received for wind mitigation came back with some unfavorable information. It was very challenging, because what that winds up doing is it makes the cost to the homeowner a lot higher as far as annual insurance premiums. So for those who don't know what a wind mitigation is, it's basically a communication vehicle between the home inspector and the insurance company about how well a house is supposed to stand up during a windstorm. So this roof was recently replaced on this house, and all homes that get new roofs today are supposed to be nailed according to a certain pattern and with a certain length of nail. And the home inspector that went and did that inspection stated that it was a shorter nail that used to be an old standard that was okay once upon a time, that's no longer okay. They said this is the nail that was being used during the roofing application. Now, between me, you, and everybody else watching this podcast, I've got a lot of roofer friends, and all of them have been very transparent with me. And they said there is absolutely no reason for us to do it wrong, because to use the shorter nails versus the longer nails saves us $70 on a job, when these roofs are thousands and thousands of dollars, right? They're just like, it makes no sense for us to do it wrong. It's going to get inspected. We know it's going to get inspected. We're going to do it right. So I like to give the roofers a benefit of the doubt that, hey, they're probably using the right materials. We just got to find it. And in this case, this inspector went and measured the first nail they saw, but this house was from like 1968. So of course there was old nails already in there, right? So it's needed to be re-nailed with the new length. And they didn't take the time to look for it. So I offered to go and do a second opinion completely for free for this realtor. And I said, hey, if this house is vacant, I'll go over there right now and I'll look for those nails, and I'll make sure that everything's good to go. And if you need a new report, I'll generate a new report. And that's what we did. And sure enough, the right nails were there. Just, you had to go in and dig. You had to climb into the attic a little bit further. And so I just did that. and just made a relationship with the realtor, and then hopefully I can take care of her clients. And again, goes back to surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, not paying for the cheapest services,
Yeah.
because the cheapest services means I'm going to give you the cheapest quality of service, cheapest
Right.
level of service, the quickest level of service. And sometimes you need somebody who's going to be a little extra diligent.
And you're talking about probably thousands.
$1,000 a year,
Yeah.
easily.
Yep.
Yeah. So this was actually the second time that I had a client come out to me for a second opinion. And with the first client, she had already been paying for 3 years under the premise that the old nails were being used. Wow. And she said, man, this is getting so expensive. This is crazy. And when it came out, it was like, nope, somebody just didn't look for the right nails. What was your old insurance premium? And I talked to the insurance agent. I was like, what's their new premium going to be? And it was about $1,000 difference.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
nice.
crazy.
Well, thanks for sharing that. Now,
Yeah.
let's transition.
What about you guys?
Well, so success stories, and I'll tell you one from earlier this year. We had a closing, and I had a family, first-time homebuyer family coming in, and actually the realtor is a neighbor of mine in my neighborhood over in Pace, and they had been looking around for several months. They thought they'd find the right property. They didn't have the best inspection. The sellers weren't willing to come through and do the repairs that were needed. And so it just, for me, I think what was really a success story on this, they had 2 little kids, you know, a young family. I could just kind of see myself in them when I was buying my first home. So to finally get them to the closing table, it just, you know, it just was a really good feeling. They had gone through, they had found a couple of different homes that just didn't work for them for whatever reason. Realtor stayed involved. I stayed involved, you know, reaching out. They're working during the day, so you're talking to them at night. You're texting them on the phone at night when they're available, because people work different hours. That's you know, and for us, we have to be available on the weekends, at nights, whenever. You know, I go to all these different conferences. They say the biggest thing is answer your bleeping phone, right? So answer your phone. Even if you're busy, answer your phone. But back to the point of the story was, you know, just it felt extra special when you're working with first timers. They have little kids, and so you can see yourself in that transaction.
That's great.
So yeah,
it's great. It's always nice to see a new family get in a home.
Yes. So let's transition over to home inspecting. And you know, from just me looking on the outside, you guys are climbing on roofs, you're looking in crawl spaces, you're doing all this stuff, you're going in attics. What's maybe the scary part of being a home inspector, if you will?
Well, you know, there's a lot of hazards for sure, you know, and so there's, you know, different places, different hazards. You go into an attic, you don't want to crawl into the wrong spot and crash through, you know, the drywall, obviously. There could be cracked trusses and stuff like that you're not aware of, you know. In the crawl spaces, the biggest thing is critters, you know. You know, you got the snakes and the rodents and the bugs and all kinds of stuff. And then a lot of the crawl spaces, they don't have like the proper floor covering and stuff, so there could be moisture, there could be ants, and you know, other things that, you know, come up from the ground. So not great. But I think one of the most concerning, scary things, you know, that could happen is electrical stuff. You know, when you have really bad electrical, it's that could be a concern, because one wrong move, you touch the wrong thing, and it's not great. We just recently did an inspection on a property, and the service cable that was coming from the electrical pole to the home, up above overhead, you know, service cable, when it was coming down into the meter box, it wasn't covered in a weatherhead mast. And so the weatherhead mast protects the cable from the elements and stuff, make sure that the cable holds up during the storms and stuff like that. Well, this was just kind of secured to the side of the building, and the sheathing on the outside of it was all sun deteriorated, crumbling, cracking, and the wiring inside the cabling was exposed. And so it's like, just one wrong move, one person touching that the wrong way, that's just not good at all. And so when we talk about scary stuff during this time of year, just electrical, just making sure that your electrical is up to par.
And you document some of these things pretty well for social media. Why don't we take just a moment? Where can people find you on social media? John does a great job. If you haven't seen any of his videos, check him out.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, so for social media, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can either find me under DV Inspection Services or Inspector DV. So there's that. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm at Makos Mortgage Minutes if you're looking for my information, by the way.
Makos Mortgage Minutes.
So why don't we shift to the hard-hitting, the topics that everybody out there wants to know. I'm sure we're full on into spooky season. And John, I'm going to give you some rapid fire here, and you let us know what you think about this. So Halloween time. So let me start with, what's the worst Halloween candy, the candy you want to avoid out there?
Licorice. Licorice is trash.
Black licorice
is gross. I don't even like red licorice. You know, like Twizzlers.
Twizzlers are all right.
I'm not a Twizzler fan. On. My wife loves Twizzlers, and I love my wife, and so thereby we support the Twizzler brand in our house. But me, no, you'll never catch me.
Okay.
But black licorice is worse.
It's terrible. Haunted houses or hayrides?
I'm a hayride guy.
Hayride.
I like hayrides. I'm once upon a time, the scary stuff was like, when I was single. But now I got kids, and I got to really be concerned about what are we, allowing these kids to experience. And so we try to keep the spooky stuff down to a minimum. But, we'd like to have fun during this time of season as well. So, Pirate DV, Astronaut Greg, I love it.
Hey, we try around here. We want to lighten things up. Yep. So how about pumpkin pie or pumpkin beer?
Yes. Yes.
I have the same answer, actually. As a kid growing up, I used to eat a whole pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, year after year.
Right.
I think if you had to twist my arm now, I would say give me the beer.
Right.
Pumpkin Shipyard or Shipyard Pumpkinhead, if you've never had it, is fantastic.
That sounds good.
It's fantastic. All right, favorite scary movie?
Well, so again, we're trying to limit the scary movie thing. Yeah. But if you want to talk about like skeletons and spiritual, this, that, and the other, whatever, but keeping it low key, Coco. Disney Pixar Coco.
I did not expect that. That's a good one.
Not quite Halloween necessarily, but the theme behind it and all that stuff maybe fits in this time of year.
Yeah.
But I got a funny story about Coco.
Oh, go ahead. I should have brought my Coco candy bowl. I have one at home.
So we used to live in Germany, and we had some friends that we met in Germany and got really close to, what have you. And it was time for us to move. And so kind of like one of the last weekends before we had to move and stuff, we all went and got together at one of the folks' house, and we watched Coco. And the song Remember Me, the little lullaby that was being sung to the little girl, came on the TV, and we're all like grown adults watching the TV and like the tears was about to just like drop, and somebody broke the whole mood, and they're like, do you see you guys right now? And but it was moving, because it's like, man, we're getting ready to leave, and this song was so appropriate, and it just kind of hit us in the feels, So real funny story, but Coco has a soft spot in my heart.
That's a good one.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh man, I am a scary movie guy. The ones that come, the classic great theme song. I love Halloween. I also love the movie Saw. Has a great theme song, great ending. And so I can watch them all, really. Yeah. Sometimes and I like Scream, by the way. Also, Scream is great. But what I don't like is when they just keep going a little bit too far and then they're not well done. Halloween, I love Halloween, but at some point in time, I think you have to end it and come up with something new.
There, like 15 parts of that?
Too many. It's too many, right? But yeah, those are kind of like, I like What Lies Beneath. It's a sneaky one. I think I may have mentioned this to you once before, but if you guys out there haven't seen What Lies Beneath, that's a good one to check out also. So what about like pumpkin? Are you a pumpkin patch guy? You gotta go, or maybe next year?
Oh, no. Pumpkin patches are awesome. We got some great pumpkin patches in the area and stuff that we hit every year. And
are you Team Sweet Seasons or Holland Farms or something else?
Holland Farms is where we normally go.
Same here,
and they've got, the corn mazes and the rides, the hay rides and the train and this. And we love that stuff, and it just reminds us of just some of the fall festivals that we would be able to go to throughout our journey in the military in different like locations. So definitely a pumpkin patch dude for sure.
I'm from the Midwest, so to me that just kind of, I feel like I have to do that. Growing up, we always went as a kid. It kind of, to me, it feels like a Midwest thing, but I guess that's just all I knew growing up. All right, so let's transition. There's a big event coming up this Friday that you're going to be attending. Tell us a little bit about what that is. Maybe tell us how you say that event. How do you pronounce that event?
Yeah.
Where it's at, and give us some details. What can people
Yeah.
expect when they go see you?
Yeah, it's the Emerald Coast Real Estate Bar
Ah,
Camp.
there you go.
RE Bar Camp, not Rebar Camp.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's how you're supposed to say it. I still say Rebar because,
Me too.
I'm a home inspector. We look at Rebar,
That's
when
right.
we're doing our pre-drywall inspections, we're looking at, stuff like that. So Rebar Camp, RE Bar Camp. But yes, we're going to be there this Friday. And again, if you don't remember, there's going to be like 4 other home inspectors besides myself, but none of them are going to be holding this right
That's
here.
right.
This is like Best of the Bay, Pensacola, 2025 finalist. The other 2 that were the finalists in the top 3, they're not going to be at this. So
you have to be there.
Ergo,
you have to go there.
This is the best inspection company that you're going to visit when you get there, right? So,
Perfect.
yeah, going to be tons of realtors, tons of vendors, going to be really cool. So anybody has an opportunity that's in the real estate industry, it's where you want to be on Friday.
That's right. Well, thanks for your time, John. Tell our viewers once more how they can reach you if they want to reach out to you for your services.
Yep. So you can find me by Googling DV Home Inspections, DV Inspection Services, or you can look up Inspector DV on social media. Any one of those will get me. You'll find my phone numbers, my emails. You can DM me, all of that stuff. And if you need any inspection services, just give us a call.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks a lot.